Well, go ahead and say it. You say it so much better than I do.
And we're back.
Yes, we are.
Part two, Zach. Part two. June 27th, 2022, Sports Brothas Show. We're going to discuss we're going to have some uh, news and notes in the sports world. We're going to talk about the NBA season, wrap it up with a pretty little bow. Uh, we're going to talk about Kyrie, obviously, because there's the breaking news that Zach broke on our part one segment about Kyrie opting in to his contract with the Nets. And then we will also discuss NBA free agency. So this is a NBA heavy segment this evening. Zach, I have
Yes,
seen you in
sir.
the I haven't seen you in the last 10 minutes, but is everything good on your end?
Oh, everything is good outside of Kyrie. He messed up my whole little segment of everything I had about what the Nets should do. So now we got to scramble. But that's why we are who we are. We'll make it happen. And we got
That's
Antoine here to help us out too. So that's great.
all right. Sports Brothers in just a second.
This is gonna be fun. Like I enjoyed the first segment. I like the Antoine because you're a little too clean cut sometimes and by the rules and everything. I like the Antoine came on. He kind of, you know, he said things without saying things. Kind of like we can't just really say what it is, but it is.
Okay.
That is it. That was good. So this will
Yeah.
be better.
And what else is good too is that you do the following, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, it is. We like seeing our numbers go up.
That's right. You said Antoine, he was a little, hardcore on the last episode. He is from the mean streets of Seatown and over there in Dawson area. So, they're cut different over there. He's hardcore. And as we always say, Zach, are you ready? Are you ready, Zach?
Yep, just like Pastor, we ready.
All right. Well, before we do that, man, let's bring in Antoine.
Yes, let's go and get them on here. Glad to have you
Welcome
back.
back, sir.
Hey man, hey, look here. Ain't nobody from the mean streets of nowhere, man. Look here.
That's just
I
his
ain't,
thing. That's
ain't,
his Carlton from the Fresh Prince.
yeah, I
So
guess so,
I
man.
just let him have it.
Ain't no kind of thug. Hey man, stop it, bro.
Yeah, I let him have it, Antoine.
I'm a family man, dude. Ain't nobody rough over on these streets. Man. Stop it.
Hey,
This
man.
joke about some mean streets in Dawson Estates. Come on, man. That's where all the uppity folks lived at. You know, we had the city councilor in our neighborhood. Rest in peace, Miss Evelyn Turner Pugh.
Miss Turner, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Lovely lady.
That's right,
Lovely
man.
lady.
Absolutely. Yeah, lovely family, man. But man, we're gonna break into the news and notes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Welcome back to part two. It's not possible without you guys out there listening and watching. Please hit that like, subscribe, notification button. So let's get into the
Yes,
news and
absolutely.
notes. Yes, exactly. Let's get into the news and notes of the sports world. And the Houston Rockets. When James Harden was playing there, they were jacking up a lot of threes over there in Houston during that time. But man, they're in their training facility, as you can see here, they've added a 4-point line. So the Houston Rockets, man, they're looking to continue to shoot from outer space, like where the Rockets are. So they're shooting from long distance, and they're already preparing themselves, as we can see here, shooting long distance. And also in news, look at this man's face right here, Russell Westbrook. He is, man, he's intense. He's always intense, man. But him and Skip Bayless, they have a beef going on. Brandish, we may need to, get your thoughts on this because you are hardcore. This beef going on between Skip Bayless and Russell Westbrook. Westbrook is saying keep your name out of his mouth and all that good stuff. And Skip is inviting him onto his show. So there's a little beef out there in the Twitter world. as you like to say, brothers, Twitter gangsters. But that's what's going on out there between Westbrook and Skip. And I'm gonna hit one more note, and then I'm gonna let you chime in on that, Brundage. Our Lakers, okay, they brought in Scottie Pippen. I'm sorry, Scottie Pippen's son. So Scottie Pippen Jr., by the way.
You got it right.
Yeah, and Sharif O'Neal. So, the Lakers are trying to find some gold there to match the gold jerseys, and they're digging for gold here. And they're going to take a chance on Scottie Pippen Jr. and Sharif, at least in the summer league. So we'll get to take a look at them and see how they do. Sharif had like a heart condition. Didn't play a whole lot in college, to my recollect. I think he was in Arizona and LSU. And then Scottie Pippen Jr., he actually had a nice college career at Vanderbilt. So it'd be interesting to see how these guys pan out. But yeah, that's the news and notes right there, ladies and gentlemen. Brandon, you got any comments there? Followed up by Zach.
As far as like the Skip Bayless Russell deal, I mean, it's the man is a news he's a news reporter. I mean, are you going to tell everybody to keep their name out your mouth? How about you put the ball in the hole and then they won't talk about you? That's the easy thing right there. You do your job, they won't talk about you. Nobody talked bad about you. 3-4 years when you average triple double for the season. Everybody loved you, but you got out. As a Laker fan, I'm critical of you. It's a whole lot with the Lakers. I don't think that Russell effectively, but as far as like this particular issue, come on, man. I see why he and KD couldn't get along. Boy, these are the two most sensitive goddamn grown men. Y'all boys, y'all are getting upset because the media is talking about you. I mean, come on, man. I'm finna say I heard a saying that I'm gonna go with: stop me when I start lying. So when Skip starts lying, that's when you stop him. That's that. But until then, Westbrook was horrible, and you're getting paid what, $42 million a year? Don't know, boss. I don't want to hear that. Play better.
All right, what you guys at?
I'm gonna say two things can be true at the same time. Now, when you put yourself in the spotlight, you open yourself up to criticism. But I will go to Skip Bayless makes a habit out of playing with people's names. Now, you ain't got to call him Westbrook. If you want to call him Westbrook and talk about poor shooting performance and all that stuff, but I can see where kind of where you have the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing going on. Well, maybe you feel like, why does this guy keep making it personal? Like, if you just talking about the performance and everything, cool. So if Westbrook was to slap Skip Bayless in the mouth, I ain't mad. So I'm not mad at either one of them. Skip Bayless, he can, do his little shots and personal attacks. But if somebody wants to come back at you when you maybe keep, like, he has been playing with his name. Like, he been playing with his name since Kevin Durant was there, Antoine. So I can understand that Westbrook might feel a certain way. Because he used to do that to Bosh until Bosh showed up on First Take. And then all of a sudden, once Bosh got on the show, then he don't want to, now I respect you so much, man, that you came here and sat there. Because I'm going to tell y'all the truth. Depending on how I felt about him playing with my name and I went on the show, I'm going to do like I was about to say Chris Everett, but I would say Jim Everett, if y'all remember back in the day when he went on with Jim Rome. And Jim Rome, to his credit, always called Jim Everett Chris Everett because he said he played like a girl. And when he got on the show, he called him Chris like 2 or 3 times, and Jim Everett punched him. And Rome said, look, I done called that man this for all these years. I can't get up here now on the show and not do it. And he took the punch to the face. So, I'm good with either way. But I do get Antoine that really Westbrook is punching down. Like, you should just ignore Skip Bayless. But if you can't ignore him, then hey, my mama said don't play the dozens.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you why I think he should just leave it alone and ignore Skip, because I mean, I said this before, and I think I said this before the Lakers even signed Westbrook. A Tiger is not gonna change his stripes. So you brought him in. The Lakers brought him in a situation where it really doesn't fit. It doesn't fit him. And if you look at his percentages, I mean, he shot 44% this past season, 43.9% in Washington last year, 47% in Houston. Then you go to OKC, 42%, 44, 45, 42, 43. So he's been basically the same player his entire career. So he really should just you should look at his stats and just tell Skip, hey man, I've been pretty much consistent my entire career and been successful the way I played. His numbers, okay. He, 18 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists a game. That's really not bad being the third option in LA behind LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I mean, that's not bad for what you want from a third player. It's just, again, the fit. And it's more about the organization and how they put it together as far as the coaching staff and decision making, more so than Russell Westbrook, in my opinion. I mean, if you take Russell and drop him somewhere else, he's going to be back to the 22 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists, and still the same shooting percentage. So, for me, it's like, don't make it a mountain out of the molehill. Just keep moving forward, and if you want to challenge him, come on the show and just challenge him. Challenge him on the show, or it don't have to be on Skip's show. Have him come to your show or Draymond Green's podcast or something. Put him on your turf. Put on, since we're gonna be hardcore out here, let's fight on a neutral turf. You know what I'm saying? So Skip is trying to get him on the show. Zach, you talk about in the pregame. In the pregame, you talked about that. So don't feed into that. You know what I'm saying? Just be you and keep it moving. You're a Hall of Fame player. What's the big deal?
Skip is a smart guy. He knows, like you say, the same with Jim. Skip is a really smart guy, and he knows who he can get a rise out of, and again,
yeah,
Westbrook and KD are two of those guys that you can get a rise out of. You can, if you come at them, they can't help themselves. I mean, you got to think about it. As much as people have talked about LeBron James, and it's very rare, well, he'll give you, something to run back with him on. Everybody's, everybody's not cut for kind of, that kind of stuff. And again, just getting a little leeway. I mean, I think that's why they weren't successful together in OKC, is because you had two guys that, I don't want to, I'm not going to say it and sound sexist, but they
you can be sexist.
They just weren't very manly,
There you go.
I'll just say it that way.
How about say beta males then? I think that's the new term. You got alpha males and beta males.
There we go. They're beta. Sorry, y'all.
No, you good, man.
But they're beta males. They're beta males, alpha males clothing.
Yeah, and I'll say they know we do videos now from home. This is the new world now. We get everything now, so it's all good.
We like the DMX sound effects. I told you, bro. I told you, Brandon, this is tough. I told you that.
There you go. And I mean, just to run back around, but and like you say, you putting up those numbers, and I was looking at the same thing. He has been consistently anywhere from a 42 to 45% shooter, but this last year he shot, which wasn't the only one, but he shot 29% from three. You can't shoot 29.
No,
you can't shoot 29% from 3-point range and keep jacking them up. He was taking anywhere close to almost 4 a game, getting close to 4 a game and only making 1 of them. So you got to, or making 1 for every, how that is going. So you
yeah. All right. Well,
like I said, we ultimately just don't buy into that.
Yeah. Well, our first segment was brought to you by Heaven's Spa Mobile, 2484 Ingleside Avenue, Building A, Suite 101-A, Macon, Georgia 31204. The Tanya can be reached at 478-747-9231. 478-747-9231. Heavenly Spa Mobile, where relaxation is the key. All right, let's talk about the NBA, gentlemen, and let's get our final thoughts on the season. We'll start with our guest, Antoine, followed by Zach.
Sounds good.
As a overall NBA fan, I'm glad we got back to a regular full season of basketball. You know, as much as everything, you know, back to a semblance of normalcy, which, you know, we, you know, as sports fans, we all have wanted that, you know, back to the stadiums, the real, that fake stuff, none of the generated things. You get, you know, true emotion, true things that have gone on. But it's like I said, as far as the season goes, it's been, as a Laker fan, you know, it's really disappointing. You know, we've got we basically got 5 Hall of Famers on our team. We can't make the playoffs. We got 5 Hall of Fame guys, 4 top 75 players who are still playing basketball, 4 guys in the top 75. And I don't know how many of them, I don't know how many top 75 guys are still playing. And I guess that's something I wish I'd had time to look up, but nobody has 4 on their team other than us. And we can't make the playoffs. So that is to say disappointing is just putting it mildly. As far as like the rest of the NBA goes, I like the way the rest of the league is going now. To some of these younger teams like the Pelicans, you see them what they want to do, how they want to, the identity I think that they want to try to get, as far as Memphis as well, their kind of identity that they want to create. You still got the old guys like Golden State that are still there. They're still, you know, pushing around. You got Milwaukee with Still, who's arguably the best player in the NBA, and Giannis. And it would have been a nice playoffs to see them at full strength, but you know, I think, you know, Mr. 411 has told me, you know, it is what it is. You know, injuries are a part of the game, and you know, my daddy told me a long time ago, if a frog had a glass ass, it'll be broke. So all those ifs and nuts was candies and nuts, you know, all that kind of stuff. You can't play the if game, but I would have loved to seen that battle against Boston full strength, and that's something to look forward to next year, because I think, you know, Boston is going through a process of learning how to win, and that's the game you played, man. You used to have to go through ebb and flows. You go through playoff runs. You go through and make a conference finals, and then you go through and get to the NBA finals, and then you learn how to win, you know. And then it kind of, you know, flowed itself down. But this microwave era that got ushered in by somebody who shall remain nameless, we see that you can't skip the process. You have to go through the process of putting your pieces together, guys learning how to lean on each other and you know, make it to the next level. And man, I'm looking forward probably in a year or another year, man, to seeing like I say, see him against Memphis for a title. You know, that's going to be something good. So, but like I say, I've enjoyed this season. I've you know, and shout, you know, great game to the guys at Golden State. You know, that's that championship pedigree showed its face, and you know, and that counts for something. Going through, winning, losing, having good times, having bad times, all that stuff. You could tell that they were drawing on something more than just talent, because I mean, Boston is just as talented, probably position for position, as Golden State, but you have to have some sustenance to grow yourself on. So love the season, man.
What about you, Zach?
I'm gonna echo Antoine. Love the season, and I'll say I enjoyed it more because we got the postseason time, and it wasn't LeBron centric without him being in the playoffs, and you got to focus on maybe new crop or your next crop of individuals, be it Tatum. I thought Anthony Edwards was outstanding in Minnesota in the first round. Memphis, really, really good. Unfortunate that Morant got hurt, but really good by them. Luka had a nice year where he got to you got to see what the Mavericks could do, or they at least got to the conference finals, so good for them. And even then, when you go back, and I know, and we'll hit on this a little bit, but Boston beating the Nets is probably, I shouldn't say beating the Nets, Boston sweeping the Nets is probably the most surprising thing of the playoffs, because I don't think anybody would put money that Boston or the Nets wouldn't win a game against Boston. But as I said, great season. Excited for next year. I'm not going to be as emphatic as Antoine is about Golden State. I think things broke their way, but that's how it works. Suns, and I'm just going to go ahead and do the Chris Paul thing. At some point, we have to stop giving Chris Paul all of these excuses, because he's had he's had enough opportunities in his long career that for whatever reason, it just keeps not happening. And then a guy like Steph Curry sneaks through when he shouldn't have snuck through this year to get another ring. And now I'd say Curry, I mean, it wasn't really his, because I thought what you said about the Bucks was right. They get Middleton. They probably get back to the finals, and they have a great chance of winning it with Giannis. But injuries are part of the game, as Mr. 411 says. And then the Suns, they were clearly the best team all season. And for whatever reason, be it turmoil within the team or what have you, things don't work in the playoffs and you flame out. And who knows if you get another opportunity. and then we go to it's all good. Then we go to, as I said, Golden State sneaks through, gets one. Now, if you're Curry, you have 4. You would expect Golden State team to be better next year. So now what we may be talking about, if Curry can kind of be the lead guy for the next 4 years, if they get 2 more titles, Curry's going to be solidly in the top 5, if not maybe the 3rd greatest player of all time, if we using rings to kind of judge stuff or whatever. And if Golden State can get to 6, in my mind, behind Russell Celtics, and then you go behind Jordan's Bulls, they're the 3rd greatest franchise ever. Now, it's going to take a lot to get there. Like, them rings are tough to get.
Oh,
no,
go ahead.
No, the Curry. I'm saying the Curry. I'm saying the group.
Okay.
He'd move ahead of, say, Magic's dynasty. The Lakers with Kobe, and the Spurs with Duncan. Like, now, it's a lot that has to happen for that to happen. But it's a conversation that's out there now. But really enjoyed the season. And then I see I'm just to add in that, as we've seen too, as the playoffs have gone on and everything, you see a lot of these guys getting pressed. And Patrick Beverley, while he says some crazy stuff, I have liked seeing him on TV. And then if you want to go with I know JJ Redick ain't a player anymore, but JJ Redick has been nice. And then CJ McCollum has been nice too. Like it gives you a different perspective. And I say, for fans and maybe people that are not like us and don't understand kind of how we are, they may think that all of us are a certain way. It projects a good image for the most part when they're not going back and forth like Kendrick Perkins and Draymond.
Yeah, I enjoyed the season. I think, one part, and I jotted down a couple things here. the big man in a league where the average height is like 6'7" this year, and we had a finals with I can't even think of a 7-footer that was in the finals off the top of my head. The big man, Giannis, the Joker with back-to-back MVPs, and Embiid. It's good to see that there's still some big men in the NBA that were, that really had an impact in the league. I think the MVP race came down to 3 bigs, and that was just refreshing to see, and good to know that the league still, has a place for the big man if you utilize them, and if they play like a big man. I like that part of the league. The regular season, you guys touched on that a little bit, but Boston, they really needed the regular season this year. They were down in the bottom. I mean, this was a team that nobody was talking about, and for them to get back on track and persevere and move up and get a higher seeding, unlike a team that I thought would be in the finals, like the Brooklyn Nets, where the regular season was kind of like a let's get through it as far as organizationally, let's just get through it and then see what happens. Boston actually took advantage of the regular season, positioned themselves a lot better, and used it as fuel to get where they ended up, which was to the finals. And definitely this season ushered in. It kind of shows you where the league is shifting. It's shifting. Guys like Harden, and even though Curry got the championship this year, guys in that age range, that age bracket with Damian Lillard, and they really wasn't the focal point. You started seeing a lot of these the next gen step up pretty well, and I really think Luka Doncic and Giannis is going to basically be, at some point they're going to be the top 2 players in the NBA. And the Joker is still be in the mix, and Embiid. So if you notice what I just named, I named a lot of non-US players that's really going to be carrying this league, and that's something that was a vision of the NBA, David Stern, back in the 90s. So that's really come to fruition now. Like, we don't even really think about it when we talk about players that are not from the US, and these guys are really dominating the league. So that I think those are my takes for the season. And it was, got to give congratulations to the Warriors for getting the job done. They did win the championship. Yep. They did do what they had to do. And of course, there's a lot of factors that lead the way for a lot of teams, but they did get the job done. Got to give them their flowers for that. So that's my take on the season. I think before we move to the next topic, are there any other comments on the season before we bring it to a close?
Nope, just ready for free agency.
All right, well, that's the next topic, Zach. I mean, you're smooth with it, man.
Well, thank you.
All right, so yeah, what will the NBA free agency bring, gentlemen? Again, we'll start with you, Antoine.
Hey man, you gonna quit putting me out here like I'm the damn hoe? I ain't gotta get out there. You put me on the stroll like I'm. You know what I'm saying? Every time. We say, hey man, let me piggyback off somebody.
See, I told you he was gangster. I told you.
Okay. I'll go first then. It's okay. I can go first. Well, I think he's trying to be a good host.
Well, thank you, Mr. 411. I appreciate that. Free agency. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to steal anybody's thunder as far as like you say, some of the things that that were kind of set up in the in the going. But I am going to go ahead and steal part of.
Go ahead.
Mr. Zach's, like I said, he gave us some breaking news in the first part of that, which was Kyrie went ahead and wisely opted in to his his player extension. And I think who else is it? I looked at. Oh gosh, somebody else has one that they're waiting for them to opt.
I know Harden has one too.
Yeah, Harden for Philly. So, and I think his is I think Kyrie's was like 36. I think Harden's is 42 or 47 million. I mean,
oh yeah, big money.
That's just there's no way I'm leaving $47 million laying on the table.
Amen to that.
And this was one of the things that the players, like you said, the players fought for this stuff a long time ago, as far as like having the right to kind of control their own destinies and make the money. You can play ball anywhere. You can get, you can play ball anywhere. And as we see, you can force trades, you can get yourself out of a situation, but it would be asinine to leave that kind of money sitting on the table for any. I mean, that's to me, that's dumb as hell. That's short of anything else I could think of. And that, that guy right there, he been stealing money the last 2 years. So it ain't no use to him going right now. He been stealing money.
I'm glad as you saying it and not me.
Yeah, he been stealing money. He might sit out some games and say that Mars is in retrograde, so he can't play these next 2 weeks. If Mars get out of retrograde, it's weird ass stuff that he be coming up with. But as far as like I said, it's free agents. I don't know how it ties into what the league is going to do, but I definitely see the league tying some of this into like pay. Your pay is going to be tied into playing. If you're, if you don't have a legit reason to sit and not play, as far as like injuries going, I don't see them. I can't see them just consistently paying these guys to. And now if it's your own personal opinion about some stuff, you're entitled to that. But the same way, if either one of us decides not to show up at our employer's place tomorrow, it's gonna come with some consequences and repercussions. And so, that's one of those things. But you look at Zach LaVine. I think he is an unrestricted free agent, and I think, but he's gonna end up getting his payday from Chicago, which that's gonna that's what you're looking for. He's in a pretty good situation there in Chicago. I think he and DeMar Rosen are a good 1-2 punch. Rosen. Rosen's gonna be but you're in the East, so you got that little East thing going on. I think Jalen Brunson was somebody else that's supposed to, he had a good playoff run. So he's looking to get paid. The Knicks were trying to move Kemba. And I just looked at, like before we got ready to go on, I don't think that trade is official yet. So, you still got that. And then I think Philadelphia did end up moving Danny Green and something for one of the guys from Melton from
Memphis.
So you got all that, you got a bunch of stuff, you got teams, like you said, that some of the teams and the picks that they made, they're gonna have to decide, how these guys are gonna pair up with each other, who's gonna go where. And I like this time of year too. I like the free agency kind of scuffle, because then you always get it's always somebody where it's like you kind of didn't see something coming, and one of those moves, but we knew Kyrie Irving wasn't gonna be no Laker. So not for no $6 million anyway. But it's but yeah, that like I said, that it's always, I like it. Like I say, I like this time of year. I like the free agency time.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna throw a name out there, ladies, everybody. But gentlemen, I'm gonna bring this name out there. Murray. What are your thoughts on Murray? And we're all from this area, so what are your thoughts on Murray possibly signing with the Hawks? It looks like the Hawks are really zoning in on this move. What are your thoughts on that? I could give you mine real quick. I think it's a good mix.
Please do.
It's a big guard. He's a two-way player. And I think that's the type of help that I think that's a good compliment to Trae Young, because he's a smaller guard and he's not a great defensive player by any means. So to have a bigger guard, I think is a good mix for him in the backcourt. I think that would be a good thing right there. It's not a championship move, but it's a move that, if you continue to add pieces, it'll definitely give you it'll definitely help the Hawks out a lot. What about you, Brendan?
If you fix a Rubik's Cube, you have to do a whole lot of stuff one way, and it doesn't look right. If anybody's ever fixed a Rubik's Cube, if you've ever seen somebody fixing a Rubik's Cube, I thought he was trying to get all the reds on one side till he turns it, until they make those turns, and then you get it, and it's like, oh damn, and like you say with Murray, he is. I think it may not be. It'll be one of those things when you look back, it may not be a championship, like, oh God, but I like that move, man. Like you say, he's a bigger guard, two-way guard. And, you and I, Mr. 411, have talked about the effectiveness of what you can do with Trae Young, which is essentially stop trying to make him be a guard, let him be a more of a scorer. Kind of like, how Philly did Allen Iverson back in the day. They brought Eric Snow in and let Snow play the point guard, and then just let Iverson do his thing. Which I think that's what you could do with Murray. You can let him be a defensive guard, let him go ahead and make plays for your team, and help help change that identity of the Hawks. And like I said, that's one of those things where you kind of look at a player, and not that Trae, because he gets assists, he does that. It's not that he's not a playmaker. He just doesn't. It's just not his thing to set, like a set guys up.
Yeah, he's not setting anybody up. He's scoring. It's mainly off of his threat to score that
and then like a Jason Kidd, a Chris Paul, like I said, Jason Kidd,
Tyrone Jones.
that kind of guard where you gotta, he's looking to set guys up and help, help do that. So I like the move, man. I think it will be something if Atlanta goes on in a couple of years from now. And like you say, you add enough pieces, and then when you get a chance to land that one guy, that one main attraction guy, you got it set up, and then it kind of it propels you into being a championship kind of team. So I like it.
Yeah, and he also averaged Murray this season 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists, and that's averaging. So he really had a breakout season, and you can see where it goes from there, because he constantly improved, because the previous season he was at 15 points per game. So he upped it by 6. He was at 7 rebounds. He upped his boards by almost 2. And then he upped his assists by 4 because he averaged 5. So, he's really improving, and just kind of like that move. Zach, are there any players in particular for your free agency that you have a close eye on?
Bradley Beal. Because he is, I want to say he may be another one that can opt into his contract and then sign an extension. So is he worried about getting the money, or is he trying to be a championship type guy? And look, this will be for you guys. I don't know how this would work, but if he opts in and say he doesn't sign an extension and become a unrestricted free agent next year, maybe the Lakers have cap space to sign him. Like I don't really know the situation, or at least Washington is more willing to make a sign and trade for that possibly. So looking at that, and I think you and I talk about this a good little bit, Mr. 4-1. DeAndre Ayton. Not sure if Detroit might be off the table since they got Duran, or I may be saying that, or Duran, however it's said, kid out of Memphis to play center, but see how much, interest he gets and what the Suns actually do with it. Not really sure why he fell out of favor with them. So those would be the two things. And of course, it goes without saying, I keep hearing everybody needs to take Russell Westbrook and all this other stuff. I will be shocked if the Lakers can find a trade partner for Westbrook.
Yeah, I would be too. I'd be floored if that happens. I think he's pretty much where he's going to be. He's going to be in a Laker uniform, and you know, I don't see the deal. I mean, Russell's not a bad player. It's just again fit, and
send him to
they
the
got
bench.
to come up with a better strategy.
Just bring him off the bench, and I think that fixes everything.
Or maybe you give him the ball,
fixes it a little bit.
Let him have the ball more. I mean, initiate more.
Stop playing.
I mean, you got to come up. Hey, that's what he's been doing all his career. So you gotta figure out another way. I mean, because the bed was made. He's in it. He's there, and he's not going anywhere unless, I heard OKC didn't come up. Maybe they would do it for a year, and then move on from there because they have a lot of young pieces over there.
What do they need cap space for? Who's signing? We're free agents going to OKC.
But they like to take players like they did Chris Paul, and then eventually ship and move him on too. Okay. So maybe they could try the same thing again with a Westbrook. I mean, that's the only place I can think of off the top of my head. Like he wouldn't be bad to play there for a season, and then move forward because they could definitely use him for ticket sales as well, coming back to the home, quote unquote, and then he can be moved on somewhere else. But other than that, I just see him in LA. Are there any other free agent players that you guys are thinking about?
No, those are the main ones for me.
Yeah, I was just going unless they're doing a favor for the Lakers, there's no way. There's no way he's moving on from anywhere. Just stuck with that bad thing. Now, again, something maybe we can talk off air. There are different things that should have been done with Westbrook and LeBron, and I have my own theories about what some of that can entail. But that again, another time for another show. But I can't think of anybody else that's a major free agent that's gonna go anywhere or make any moves right now.
Yeah, well, I think a great free agent year.
Well, I think Bridges over in Charlotte, they either gonna pay him or they're gonna find somewhere for him to end up. I think he's a good piece. He's a good piece for a team. Yeah, and so we'll see where that goes and see what team he helps out, whether it's Charlotte or another team. But that's pretty much where we are right now with free agency. But
let me ask you real quick. I mean, if you got a second, I don't understand why you don't keep him. You know what I'm saying?
I think he's unrestricted. So if he goes and signs somewhere, I believe they can match, just like the Suns can do with Ayton if they want to. So they might be trying to let him go out there and see how much he can get.
See how much he's on the market for. Yeah, and maybe that's what it is. But I mean, you got some good pieces there. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, it's just all about you draft a guy, you saw something in him, and he's fairly good young guy. I mean,
yeah,
and I think maybe that's just what it is. Like you say, putting him out there on the market, see what the market says that he's worth, and
because there's a max contract, possibility going out there too. So I think that's what they, are, playing with right now between the two of them.
That'd be a no.
And that's why he's in the free agent conversation.
Exactly. Okay, so, like that's no.
That's the deal there. He's trying to max out, and we're going to see what Charlotte does as a result of that. Whether he's going to be there or not. But Charlotte had a good season. I mean, they were in the play-in, and that's not bad for them. And that they feel like they have some young pieces there with LaMelo Ball. So I think they can kind of move forward with those guys.
I said Bridges, Ball and Bridges.
They got a couple good pieces.
I think old boy from I always get it. Who's the guy that came from Utah, went to Boston, broke his leg? I think he's finally coming off their books.
Yeah, they're trying to move Hayward. Yeah, they're trying to
Yeah,
move
yeah.
Gordon Hayward. Yeah,
I think he's so maybe, but once
Another
again,
Joker's been stealing money. He been stealing money.
But I'll be fair to him.
All the money he done stole, boy.
But I'll be fair to him that once that injury he got in Boston, where it was that probably was the end. So any money he got after that is really on the teams and not him.
Yeah. Well, check this out. Is the ironic part about that is, Hayward and the next guy we're going to talk about after the commercial break, Kyrie Irving, they both were in Boston together. Remember, they did press conference together in Boston.
Correct.
And so that's gonna tie us into our next segment after this break. Check out GG events.
And I'm not laughing at commercial. I'm laughing at some of the Kyrie stuff on Twitter.
All right. Seems like you're tickled about Kyrie Irving. So we'll go ahead and talk about Kyrie. He opted in as breaking news on the first segment, part 1 today. And he's opted in. So he's a Net, at least for now. And we're going to talk about it. So, Zach, what's your thoughts on Kyrie?
Well, he is the talent. He is extremely talented. Now, the truth is he's an extremely talented little guy in a league that rewards you for being big. So outside of his time with LeBron, he ain't really been much of a winning player. He's the, and this is where we go into, bro, this is where people might go get, but he's the pretty girl that all he really is pretty. He don't offer much substance beside that. Just because of, like you said, his flightiness of, I don't know if you're going to show up for work. I don't know why you're going to tell me you can't work or whatever. Then you may get injured. You got all of this stuff going on. He doesn't really take accountability, but I'll say this. He is Batgirl. Like everybody loves to talk about, you need to have a Batman and a Robin, and Batman and Robin usually show up. So Kevin Durant is your Batman. Ben Simmons is going to be your Robin, but Batgirl helped him out at times. Like she didn't always help him out, but occasionally Batgirl comes in and she does a little bit to help them beat the Joker and or whoever. And that's who Kyrie is. He's Batgirl. He's going to possibly be there to help you out. Unfortunately for him, and good for the Nets, they called his bluff, and they were willing to lose Kevin Durant to call his bluff. They weren't going to give him 5 years max money when you don't know what you're going to get from him. And I'll let Antoine hit on this more, but I knew damn well he wasn't taking $6 million to go to the Lakers. And I would have said, like, now, I'm going to say this. He should have took $6 million to go to the Lakers. He's already made a ton of money. But I knew he was not going to do it because he wasn't going to let $30 million go out of his damn pocket just for 1 year. So now, if I'm the Nets, this is where you have that talk with Kyrie of, what direction are we going to go in? We'll look at a contract after this season, or we're going to trade your ass. You either buy in or don't. So ultimately, this was the best thing for the Nets because now you like to say it, Mr. 411. They have a chance to prove they can possibly be contenders now because you should, I'm going to use air quotes, have Durant, Simmons, and Kyrie along with getting who's the three-point shooter they had? Joe Harris. Back.
Oh, and Seth Curry.
Yeah, so in theory, you should have these guys together, I guess. Oh no, but they called his bluff, and Kyrie now he got to kind of have his tail between his legs. It is what it is. But this is maybe taking 2 steps back. I'm sorry, 1 step back to take 2 steps forward for Kyrie and for the Nets.
All right. Okay, we got about 8 minutes left in the show. Just a quick thing about the free agency: Miles Turner and Brogdon. Looks like the Pacers want to move both of those players. I think those are key players that can help franchise as well. I think we didn't bring that up. We talked about Jalen Brunson on part 1, possibly being a Knick. So those are 3 other players. But Brundage, you want to say anything about Kyrie?
Yeah, like I said real quick, he is one of the most mind-boggling kind of, Zach had everything on the head, man. He is like that pretty girl that she's just pretty, you know what I'm saying? She ain't got nothing in between her ears. She's, you know what I'm saying? She's pretty. Everybody wants to go to the dance. Everybody wants to go to the dance with her, but as we've seen, his time other than with LeBron James, he hasn't had any, he hasn't fulfilled anything. He hasn't had the success. He hasn't shown you that he's, this guy that you could basically put a franchise on. He's not that guy. Well, he's shown you that he's not that guy. He needs somebody to go along with. He needs to be paired with somebody. And like you said, the Nets were like, no, you gonna get this money. You can get this $36 million. We're not gonna max you out. And not see any kind of a dedication towards us. And now we said that in the last, and we'll say it again: winning makes everything go away. If they get out next year and they get all their pieces together, and there's no more COVID issues, no more of that stuff that's going on, and they get out and they show out, and I think in the games that he played, he averaged like 27 points.
Yep.
27-6-5 or something along those lines. So he when he was playing, he's a force. I mean, he's one of the best one-on-one players in the game. There's no doubt in his talent and the things that he can do. But as far as like what teams need and the things that teams need, is a commitment or guys that are going to be leaders. And I don't know how he can put that quote out saying those that dare to lead or whatever.
I don't understand him.
You wouldn't get a damn COVID shot. You wouldn't get a damn COVID shot for your team to help your team to do something, regardless of how you personally felt. If taking these COVID shots was out here killing people and maiming folks and all that kind of stuff, anybody would have had a right to say, hey, I'm not doing that. Nobody's going to criticize you. They saw this stuff was safe or, effectively safe. And the thing is, it was you chose your own personal you chose you over your team. You chose Kyrie Irving over your team. And as a Nets organization, I wouldn't invest a whole lot of money in him either. I just don't see that.
Hell, the only reason he got the option, I think, is because the option was on the table. But I will, before I let you go, Mr. 41, just chime in on what Antoine said. Antoine, I'll say, because you said a couple things. I'm going to go some numbers for Kyrie. 75 games in the NBA Finals. If that happens for him, and 75 regular season games, I would say that happens in the NBA Finals, they will probably give him that 5-year max extension. That, like, because you said winning matters. I don't think they have to win the title, but if you get that from him, that he can fool him for a year, maybe he gets that.
Well, I think that
I want to throw one thing out there real, Mr. Quick, Mr. 41.
I know
he's 30. He's 30 as well.
Well, yeah,
he's 30 years
that was
old.
it. Fooling for a year.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr.
Okay,
Jones.
well,
Sorry about that.
I know it's easy to pile on. It's easy to pile on Kyrie.
I
get that. It is because like
he makes it easy.
I want you to look up how many players in the NBA this past season didn't play, or because they didn't get, or how many other players in the league did not get vaccinated. And I don't know the Muslim religion like that, but it could have been a religious reason why he didn't. We have to check into that. But and by no means am I making excuses. I'm just stating some things. Now, last season when he played when the Nets played Boston in a playoff game between Durant, Harden, and Kyrie, they scored over 100 points. So I think that if he comes back and plays ball next season, you put him with Durant and Simmons, as you stated earlier, Zach. If Simmons plays, he has a whole year to rehab this back thing. This is a combination that could be a force. I think we don't want to overlook that. Like we can't overlook that. Now, of course, if he misses time next year and all that stuff, then okay, it validates everything. But Kyrie also is in Brooklyn because him and KD have this great friendship, and that's part of why Brooklyn wanted Kyrie there, because it's going to bring them Durant. So it's twofold. It's not just about Kyrie. And I think all three of us can agree that I don't think any of us has ever said Kyrie was a 1 in the first place. So I think that the media is treating him like he's a 1, and he's not a 1, and we know that. So that's just my thing on it. And I don't have no skin in the game. I can care less about the Nets, but that's just how I see that whole thing. And this is more so about Kevin Durant.
The only thing I'm gonna jump in
he was
and
a
say,
one.
go ahead, Tom. Yes, he was drafted number 1 overall.
He was.
Yeah,
but okay, so was a lot
Boston,
of other players.
Yeah,
everybody's not going to be a 1. The guy
I know, but
his
thing with going to Boston was that was it. They were bringing him to Boston.
I'm talking about Boston. The Nets. I'm talking about the Nets.
You said he wasn't a 1. I'm saying you said that he wasn't a 1.
He's not a 1. He's not a 1 in my opinion.
No,
I'm saying that. I'm saying we don't think he's a 1.
You're saying that the media perceived him as a 1. The NBA perceived him as a 1. That's why he went to Boston to lead that team to supposedly lead that team to a championship. That's why he went there. You know what I'm saying? That was the thing. And even with this situation with Kevin Durant, it's supposed to be not just
Yeah, this is supposed to be like a Shaq. This is supposed to be like a Shaq Kobe.
This ain't Kobe Jordan Pippen. I don't see that. I see this is a
you're saying you don't see it, but that's not right. That's not the billing that was sold.
You saying Shaq Kobe? That's a whole nother
KD.
Yeah, and
the billing that was sold was KD and Kyrie. That was the thing. KD and Kyrie. We both come in here.
Right, KD first.
Yeah.
Yeah, teaming up is cool, but at the end of the day, we know that Durant is the guy.
Kyrie, KD. The thing was.
That's why I said Shaq Kobe.
Oh,
not Jordan Pippen, Shaq Kobe.
We are running out of time. We can come back. We can come back and do a part 3. We can do a part 3 if you want to do a part 3.
No, we cannot.
Okay.
No, we cannot. But we can.
Well, I mean, it sounds like we may need to. Okay. But yeah, that's my take on it. So, and I think my take has sparked some great conversation, which is my goal.
You're
so
good.
Definitely appreciate that.
I'm more with
because I don't think any of y'all think Kyrie's a 3. If you are, say it now. I mean,
3.
Do y'all think he's a 1?
No.
Do you think he's a 1?
No,
okay, that was my whole point.
He's not reliable enough to be a 1.
Yeah, he's not a 1.
But you good?
But we gotta roll.
He's got the talent.
We gotta roll.
We see he's got the talent too. But yeah, he's got the talent. But like you say, it's more than just the talent. It's the reliability. Like I say, he might. Green eggs and ham went out of circulation too long for me.
He may go to Mars. He may be on the ship to go to Mars.
All right.
Yeah.
Great show, everybody. He's Antoine. He's Zach. I'm Mr. 401. Everybody have a great one.
Thank
All
you.
right, man.
Bye.